The next project in this Java series is called Counting Problems. Let's take a look at that guy. So this is a series of problems that are dealing with strings and characters, and we're also going to learn about how to read in from a file in this particular set of problems. The other thing is we're going to create our own methods, kind of like the way that you can define your own JRE methods, we can define our own in Java. So you're going to create a project that has 4 different things in it. The first of which will count the letters in a sentence from the command line. The second one is counting how many of each letter are used in a sentence from the command line. The third one is the same as the second one, except you're going to read in from a file. And then the fourth one is to read in how many words are used in a file. And I give examples of each of those things down here. Okay, so let's start up Eclipse, create a new project. Counting problems. So I have a new project, and I need a new class. So the first thing I need to put in public static void main. You might have clicked the little checkbox when you're creating it, which actually did this already. And I need to make one of these counting problems. I need to do this because, sorry, not public, new. I cannot create something called a global variable in main. So there's going to be things that I'm going to be using throughout my class, and those kind of variables, called global variables, cannot be used in static properties, unless they're static themselves. So there's a reason I'm getting out of this. The long and short of it is, main causes problems. However, I can put them into a constructor. Counting problems. All right, so from the thing, I need to have the user enter in 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then read one of these things down here. So for example, I'm going to be using the command line to read in from a number of different places. I could create the scanner in here, but I would need to recreate it in later methods. So I'm actually going to declare the scanner out here. Notice it's not within a method. I need to import this because it's Java util. But now I can use this scanner in all of my code within this class. This is called a global variable. If I create it within the scope of this problem here, so if I said scanner, other scanner, and tried to use it within here, this scanner only lives as long as I'm within this method here. I can't use it in anything else. The same thing ends up happening if you have an if statement or a for loop or something like that, and you create, let's say, an int inside of it. That thing only lives as long as that if statement or for loop. Okay, so I need to be able to read in from system in. So when I first start up this thing, I should create a new one of these scanners and read in from system.in. I'm going to be using that initially regardless, and I can use that later on as well. So my scanner is going to read in from system in. I should probably say something like enter in one of these things. So enter in one of these things, 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'm going to use the shortcut sys out, control space, and I'm going to say enter an option in quotes. That makes it a string. And then I'm going to say which thing is going to happen here. Count the letters from the console. I guess count the total letters from the console. And then this one is going to be count each letter from the console. 3 is going to be count each letter from a file. And 4 is going to be count the words in a file. And then they're basically going to choose one of these options, and I'm going to create a new method for each one of these. So let's say that they enter 1. First of all, I need to read this in. Input's going to be scanner dot next line, capital L on line. So I can change this into a number and then check the number. Alternately, I can check just the string itself by using the dot equals command. I think I'm going to do that. So if that's a 1, then I'm going to do the first problem. I'll leave a comment for myself for now. Otherwise, if input equals 2, by the way, this extra equals true turns out to be extraneous. I'll go over that later. And we're going to do the second problem, so on. So I need 2 more statements here. Now do the first problem. What I want to do is I want to create a method that does this. So I'm going to create a name for this, counting first, and I'm going to run it down below. So the way that I create a method is I need to have 3 parts to it. The first part is I need to say what I'm going to give back to the program. So does counting first give back a true or a false value? Does it give back an int? Well, it doesn't give back anything. So I actually need to say that. Void is the special keyword that means I'm not giving you back anything when it returns. Then I need the name, so I did counting first. And then basically an open close parentheses. And if I'm going to give it any information, it goes inside of these parentheses. In my case, I'm not going to, so that's it. Then braces around the method that I'm going to do. So what happens is if I say 1, it runs this code and basically runs through here and runs everything in this and then returns back to where I started. This is useful if you ever find yourself typing the same code over and over again. Think about making it a method and calling that method over and over again. So I need to check to see how many letters are in a sentence. Okay, so I need to read in another line. First, I should probably tell them enter a sentence, period. Then I'm going to read in a line. I've already defined scanner up here for system.in, so I'm okay to go ahead and just read in from that again. Now string, I have to recreate. String only lives inside of counting problems. It doesn't exist down here in this method, so I need to create another one. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about scope. Now another option is, if I don't want to do it again down here, so scanner.next line, another thing I can do is actually declare the string out here and use it over and over again here. So this way will work. Another option is I can say string input out here, and then it defines one for the whole class, and I no longer need to say string here or here. In fact, I shouldn't use it there and there. Okay, so I've read in a single thing. Now I need to walk through the string and read in each thing. How do I do that? Well, I need to know some more information about the string class. Now there's a reference that tells you everything about this. It's called the Java API. So if I go look up the Java API, here's all these things that are built into Java. Wow, that's a lot of classes. The one I want to look at is string, capital S string. So S-E-I-O-P, stroke, string, string. There it is, string. So this is all the information about string, the class that we're using with the double quotes. So there's some more info things that you can figure out about a string besides just being able to create them and adding them together. So if we look down here, these are all the things you can do to make them. Here's the method summary. These are the things we're going to be using to deal with a string. So the very first one is char@. So if I use char@ with a capital A and I give it a number, that's what this int inside here means, it'll give me back the char at the spot I ask. So for example, if I look at this string here, if I say give me back 4, it starts at 0, 1, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll give me back this lowercase r here. Code point at returns the character at the specified index. Okay. This turns out to be the ASCII value. Code point is generally the ASCII value. It's actually Unicode because Java uses an extended version of ASCII called Unicode. Has more bytes to it. So that gives me back the ASCII value. There's a bunch more things, contains. The other one that I need to know about is length. That gives me back how many things are in this particular string.